What is up guys, Speed here, and today I am making a list on what I think the top safe laners and top supports are specifically for the laning stage. And what I mean by that is I'm making a small tier list because in my previous video I said how I think the laning stage is so important, especially in solo queue. So what I'm going to be ranking these heroes on is their ability to either kill lanes and sustain lanes, right? The heroes with the best mix will obviously be on top, and so on. Before we jump into the video, I want to let you guys know that you can check out guides just like this one made by top tier pros over at gameleap.com. We have thousands of guides that can teach you the game of Dota 2 in depth and help you gain MMR much quicker than you usually would. Now let's jump into it. So let's start with the safe laners. For honorable mentions, as I can't really cover every hero, I'm going to be doing 5 for each list. I wanted to say that Lifestealer is a situationally great laner. There's actually a few heroes in particular that can pressure him out. Necrophos in particular is one that can very much so bully him out, and he often can't really pressure a lot of offlaners. A lot of the mobile offlaners will always get XP from Lifestealer. So Lifestealer is a very stable laner, but he's not a kill laner, so I didn't want to put him on the list. Also, Lycan's kind of the same thing to Lifestealer. They're very similar in senses where they don't pressure particularly well. Right, they don't have a kill spell necessarily. Wolves and open wounds are okay. However, they both have very high HP regen and pretty high damage. Like in particular has high damage, so he's great at denying. Right, they're both good at stabilizing the lane and denying. But now let's go into number 5. So number 5 is Morphling. Now Morphling is one that I think is a little bit controversial, but I still want to put on my list because this hero is a extremely hard lane dominator if put in the right situation. Morphling is a hero in which if you give him a bad lane, it's the complete opposite. So I know I was ranking this based purely on lane, and I do honestly believe that Morphling with the right support is basically always a good laner. Giving him a melee support such as Undying is going to enable him very, very heavily. Also, any of the supports that can just be good frontline tanks that I'll be talking about down below are great with Morphling because they secure him the lane in the levels in which he is weak, right? Levels like 1 through 3, even up to 4 maybe, right? When Morphling hits around 3 or 5, that's when he's extremely strong and very deadly. So if the support can zone for Morphling, he becomes one of the scariest laners in the game because his damage is so high that he'll reliably get every deny and every CS, as well as waveform and clean up every single kill with his extremely high base damage and attack speed. And number 4 is Weaver. Now Weaver is actually very similar to Morphling, where in the early levels he's quite bad, but once he gets a few levels, he can be extremely potent in the lane, right? Bugs plus Sakuchi are some of the most obnoxious spells in the game. It's very hard to deal with them, and the new Gemini attack that gives a little bit of bonus damage actually is very nice in the laning stage for harassing. As long as you buy extra regen and have a support similar to Morphling to secure you through the first levels, like level 1 through 3 or level 1 through 4, you'll be able to clean up everyone who's low, especially if the support did a good job zoning. Coming in at number 3 is Ursa. Now, Ursa has been getting nerfed actually a little bit in the laning stage, quite a few times now. The hero lost 2 armor recently, it got a cooldown nerf to its W, so it definitely has received undoubtedly a lot of nerfs. However, the hero is still a very reliable laner that does pretty solid against almost every hero in Dota. There's not a lot that actually dominate Ursa, and for that he's one of the best safe laners to pick early, as he does well in almost every matchup, as I was saying. Right? You have very high regen and movement speed, and as a result, you can just run around, dodge spells, and weave in and out of CS if behind, and if you're ahead and in a lane where you can dominate, you can run around and pick up every single kill with ease. This hero has a lot of versatility in the laning stage, whether it's when you're behind or when ahead, where Weaver and Morphling get crushed in bad lanes, right? Ursa, I think, can do well in basically every single lane. Next up is Juggernaut, coming in at number 2. So Jug is probably the best kill carry in the game, and which is why I think he's easily number 2 on this list. There's one that I think is far superior and probably the best laner or safe laner in Dota in terms of the lane, safe lane laner. But Juggernaut is the best kill laner. So what I mean by that is Jug in a lane where he is not presented with kills actually can be quite underwhelming. If they have heroes to kite out his spin, Jug is not that great, right? He also has healing ward to sustain the lane, so he's pretty good on the back foot, similar to Lifestealer and Lycan, where they just want to stabilize the lane with HP regen. But Jug, on the other hand, with a proper support kill lane, maybe with the Sven CN lane, or just a CM or Dazzle, any of these, right, provide insane amounts of kill potential. Basically, once you get phase boosts, you can push any hero out of the lane. It's very hard to deal with Jug. unless you're a small portion of the hero pool that can disengage from spin in the early game. In addition, when you hit level 6, you have one of the most reliable kill spells in the game. Now, it's a little bit fidgety because your ultimate got its range in which it can bounce got increased, so it's a little bit harder to solo kill people as it bounces easily to creep waves, but still, once you hit 6 and have phase boots and spin, no one can show up to the lane the majority of the time. But finally, coming in number 1, the best laner in the safe laner. You can pick this hero and do well in basically every lane, and that is Troll Warlord. There are a few reasons why Troll Warlord is the best laner in Dota. First off being that he can start the lane as a ranged hero. This means that a lot of melee heroes or nukes that you'd want to use on the creep wave or harass in the creep wave, as well as the hero, are not nearly as effective. In addition, you have a potent slow that if anyone ever oversteps, they get heavily punished. It's also a very low cooldown spell and a low mana spell, so in addition you can secure CS with it. A lot of safe laners don't have this luxury, right? If they do have a spell that does this, something like Spectre, where he can throw out a Spectral Dagger for CS, it puts him at risk of either dying, because then he doesn't have Dagger, or uses a large percentage of his mana pool. Troll also has some of the best chase in the game, right? With his slow, he also has a root, high attack speed, and if anyone ever tries to man up on him, he whirling axes and builds up fervor stacks. So it's basically impossible for 95% of the hero pool in Dota to man up and troll in the early game, as long as he has a +1 support. Pair him with something like a Witch Doctor, and you're going to dumpster the laning stage. Alright, now let's get into the top supports, at least for the laning stage. Before we get into the top 5, I'm just going to say a couple of the honorable mentions. Enchantress, Undying, and Chen are all top tier laners that in many games can just win your safe lane by themselves. Undying does particularly well against heroes that don't trade well, such as Pango, and strength heroes. The lanes that beat him out are often sustain lanes, heroes such as Dazzle and Oracle or Bane, even Nature's Prophet, things that can indirectly trade with him and sustain. But for the most part, Undying can solo zone 2 heroes, and it's very impressive for heroes like Troll and Morphling who don't want to get run at in the early levels. Chen, same thing, Divine Favor. Even though it was recently nerfed in this 7.21D patch, it is still a very good ability at sustaining in the lane. In addition, you can recall people to your lane, specifically your position 4 if needed, which really amplifies kill potential in your lane. It's a very great way to surprisingly win unwinnable lanes. You can bring your mid lane over if needed, you can bring your off laner. Chen just has a lot of weird options. And finally, for Enchantress, you can steal a creep. I actually forgot to mention that for Chen, but you can steal a creep. You can heal your teammates with your Nature's Attendants. You just have good options. Basically, you have one of the best abilities for trading, being that you can get a creep or use it for a slow. It's one of the best slows in the game, actually, in the early game. And you have a heal. So any hero that has an ability that allows him to sustain the lane or trade particularly well, typically sustain heroes are just the best in lane, will succeed. So Enchantress is one of them. But finally, let's get into the list. At number 5 is Dazzle. Poison Touch is just such a good ability that is good against 95% of the hero pool. Now there are a few in particular that completely counter Dazzle, and definitely a reason why I would put him lower on this list. Heroes such as Oracle and Abaddon can purge the Poison Touch. Even Juggernaut, Lifestealer, all these can purge Poison Touch, making it not that effective of an ability. Also, in many situations, a bunch of heroes can actually just completely disengage from the Poison Touch, and therefore Dazzle won't be that strong of a laner, especially considering then you don't have your heal until level 2, and also your heal doesn't sustain that well. Compared to a hero such as Chen or Enchantress, your heal is mediocre as it costs a lot of mana for how much it actually gives you. So definitely be a little bit careful. However, Dazzle in aggressive lanes, especially in aggressive tri lanes, you can abuse the Poison Touch and really just a dumpster laning stage, completely just dumpster laning stages. Coming in at number 4 is probably one of the most nerfed heroes of 7.21D, but is still such an incredible hero that I think it's still a great support, especially a laning support, and that's Oracle. With your high range and low base attack time, you trade so well. Also E plus Q, just the fact that you do such a high burst amount of damage and then purge it with another burst of damage makes any tanky hero, or more specifically any squishy hero, just evaporate. All of a sudden, they'll be full HP, you cast your nukes once, and they're close to half. It's super impressive, and the fact that you can use these abilities on your teammates as well to purge dots, you can heal with your W and E if needed. You have so many options, in addition with your low base attack time and high range, that makes Oracle such a versatile laner because of his ability to burst, go on the offensive, but also play on the defensive, as well as your just natural ability to trade with right clicks. Coming in at number 3 is actually one of the new position 5s, or one of the recently experimented with position 5s, and that is Abaddon. Abaddon recently had changes that buffed his Q quite significantly, making it just a better healing spell, but also trading spell in general. Now, why is Abaddon such a good laning hero? There's two main reasons. Your nuke is an incredibly low cooldown, being only 4.5 seconds at level 1, and 50 mana, meaning for 120 HP, being a heal, you can heal your teammate. So this is a lot more often than Dazzle. You can use it offensively and defensively. It heals for 120 for 50 mana, significantly lower than something like Shadow Wave, and it's on a 4.5 second cooldown. You literally give someone infinite HP, and the second half of it that makes it so impressive is that when Abaddon is running low on HP himself, as it does cost him HP, is that he can just deny himself. You don't have to run to the tier 1, or the tier 2, you can use your Q to kill yourself. As sad as that sounds, right? Rest in peace, Abaddon. You know, we loved you, you healed our safe laner. But the truth is, having the innate ability to deny yourself, similar to something like Pudge, allows you to come back to the lane faster, and when you're a sustaining support, that's all you really want to do. You just want to go to the lane, die, like a hero like Bane or die, you just want to die, and then come back. Coming in at number 2 is Bane. Bane has always been just a notorious position 5 laner. Everyone picks him for his laning stage. It's just a reliable hero, right? It's very straightforward. You get brain sap, you right click because you have some of the highest damage in the game, you have a pretty good animation, you have decent range, you just trade well. Brain sap also, being that it does damage but also returns it to you, it's hard to match. It's genuinely hard to match. Only heroes with units typically can trade particularly well with Bane, or if you can chain stun him so that he actually can't trade at all. Also, Nightmare at level 2 gives a lot more kill potential than people give it respect for. Trading with a hero such as Shadow Shaman is so dangerous, for the Shaman being, because if he ever drops around half HP, you can sleep him, get in 3 or 4 right clicks, and then your safe laner comes over and finishes off the kill. It's very, very good against a lot of the high damage offlaners that you'll see that can fall suscept to someone just hitting them in the laning stage. There's almost no offlaner that can directly trade with Bane, so he's number 2 on my list. And finally, at number 1, there's no bias in this list, I promise, none at all, but at number 1 is Nature's Prophet. Now, Nature's Prophet got nerfed, alright? His laning stage got nerfed, I won't deny it. At level 1, treants are significantly worse than they were previously. I get it, but I still think this hero is number 1. Not only can you summon treants with a Blightstone that do so much damage, but you can block with treants, so you have like a pseudo stun if you get good enough with them. You have a teleport, meaning that you can snipe the courier if people send it to the side lane for some reason. Now, but more importantly, you have a sprout, so you can sprout your teammate for double tango regen, absolutely insane. But more importantly, if you ever run out of resources, you can put a point in teleport, you can TP to base with your TP, your like actual TP scroll, and then teleport back with a teleport. That's a lot of teleporting, but you get the point. It's similar to Abaddon, where you can basically trade all your resources, spam treants, trade HP, and then all of a sudden, they don't get the kill, you're back at the base, healing up, and then you TP back in, they're low, you're not, you summon more treants. It's really hard to deal with. Also, one of the best things you can do with Prophet in lane that a lot of other heroes cannot do is pull with treants. Why is this so effective? Because what many times what will happen is that when the enemy sees you going to pull, whether you're a hero like Bane, Oracle, doesn't matter. When they see you off the map, they're going to assume, okay, there's a high chance this guy's pulling. But Prophet, if you're trading with them with your hero, it's very hard for them to either recognize that treants are about to pull, or it's hard for them to just run through you. Your hero trades very well, you have high damage, pretty high attack range, good attack animation. Basically, you can secretly pull and stack the pull camp, which is extremely useful. NoTail in the TI8 finals did this. I believe he stacked and pulled with the treants, and it was super effective. It gave the Ember against the Batrider, one of the best laners in the entire game, a decent lane, simply because he was able to pull the lane without the enemy team knowing. Alright, thank you guys for watching this video on top laners for the laning stage. I really just wanted to put this out because I feel like the laning stage is so crucial, especially for support players. If you're a support player and you don't play any of the heroes that I mentioned, I highly recommend you learn to play at least 2, right? Because sometimes a few of them can get countered, right? Abaddon can get countered by specific lanes that actually provide kill potential on him, or that just deny creeps. Nature's Prophet can get countered by lanes that actually just destroy his treants. Bane can get countered by heroes such as Dazzle, or, well, maybe not that much, but he can get countered by units lanes or stun lanes, so it's nice to have a mix of at least 2, where you can change them up, crush your laning stage. But the same thing for safe, you want to have a mix, right? Because there's always a counter pick to every single hero in Dota, so having at least 1 or 2 of these, whether it's Troll, Jug, Ursa, Weave, or Morphling, doesn't matter, any of them. You mix 1 or 2 into your hero pool if you don't have them already, so that you can secure the laning stage in games where you think people are going to tilt. Often you can tell just out of the chat, someone's gonna run down mid this game if I don't keep the laning stage under control. So hopefully this helps. If you guys enjoyed, please do like and subscribe, and of course I'll see you guys in the next episode.